And here we are in Guatemala. Whew. And we know how it's going to look. Just 50 meters after crossing the border, we are already climbing.
The roads here don't believe in switchback. They just go straight up the mountain, sometimes reach 15 or 18%. With bike weighing around 50 kg each, every climb feels brutal. One thing's become clear: Guatemala had to be earned. Every meter, every pedal stroke. Before pushing deeper into the country, we decide to make a detour to the east. We want to enter the humid island where the cloud forest sets the rules. Our mission is simple: find the Quetzal. The mythical bird symbol of freedom quickly becomes an obsession. We arrive at Refugio del Quetzal, a reserve hidden in the mountains. For hours we barely move. We stay under giant ferns, cameras point toward the branch, waiting. The jungle is strangely loud. Insects, distant crack in the forest, movement everywhere. But the Quetzal stay invisible, like a ghost. No matter how patient we are, nature reminds us that we are never the one in control. So instead, Guatemala gives us another kind of reward, the Igualdad waterfall. After hiking through thick jungle, we reach the base of this massive 200 meters drop. The sound is overwhelming. The water crashes so hard we can barely hear each other. And nearby, the hot spring feels like the perfect reset. For the first time since crossing the border, our legs finally start to relax. A peaceful pause before getting back on the bike.
After leaving the wetlands and waterfalls, we reconnect with the main highway. We pass through Coatepec, a busy and chaotic city, but we don't stop. The goal now is simple: keep moving south. We want to leave the city behind and reach the Sierra Madre mountains we can already see on the horizon. As we get closer to Lake Atitlán, the road changes completely. We arrive at the base of the climb towards Santa Clara La Laguna. This time the road finally has some switchbacks, but it's still insanely steep. Pretty quickly we make the call pleasure over pain. We decide to hitch a ride. A pickup pulls over almost immediately. We load both bikes into the back and climb in with them, holding onto the side rails as the truck starts the climb. Watching it from the back, it's obvious we would ended up pushing the bikes most of the way. The ride lasts around 20 minutes. And then, as soon as we reach the pass, everything opens up. Lake Atitlán suddenly appears in full view, surrounded by the dark silhouettes of volcanoes.
A huge volcanic caldera sitting at 1,500 meters, surrounded by the San Pedro, Toliman and Atitlán volcanoes. Once we reach the bottom, the plan is obvious. Get to the other side.
We are taking the boat to the other side of Lago Atitlán. It's a little bit tricky because for one bicycle it's inside the boat, so it's okay, but for the other one it's on the top of the boat, just held by two ropes. So I hope it's not going to fall in the lake. I think it's okay. So let's take the boat to the other side of the lake.
It feels stressful to watch that much weight sitting so high above the water. The crossing to Panajachel takes about 45 minutes. Finally, the pier in Panajachel comes into view. We made it to the other side. Now we are ready to climb our way out of the lake basin.
So we finally survive to the boat with a lot of fear, but it's okay. And we are putting our luggage for the night in a little hostel. Bicycles are not very safe, but I think it's going to be okay. And now we are going out to go to Antigua, maybe tomorrow, because we still have a lot of elevation gain to do, and nearly 80 kilometers. So it's going to take a long time, but this morning we already climbed 12 kilometers and 500 meters of elevation gain. Around 700 more to do today.
Once we reach the high plateaus, the road becomes more rolling, but it's still a non-stop series of exhausting hills. As we push toward the Tecpan Plateau, the atmosphere starts to change. The air feels cooler, drier. You can really feel that we've entered a different part of the country. And this region holds one of Guatemala's most important historical sites, Iximché, the ancient capital of the Kaqchikel people. When we finally arrive, we leave the bikes aside and take time to explore the old Mayan city. Founded in the 15th century, it was once the capital of the Kaqchikel kingdom before the Spanish arrived. The site is huge, protected by deep ravines that once act as natural defense. We filmed the main structures, the grey stone pyramids, the ceremonial plazas, and the two ball courts. But what makes this place really special is that it doesn't feel like a museum. It still feels alive. At the back of the site, where the forest slowly takes over, we reach the altars. There are clear signs of recent ceremonies.
So now we are at the memorial center of Iximché. The local Mayas, the actual Mayas, because they doesn't disappear, they are still using it to honor their ancestor, doing some offered like chocolate, tobacco, different type of plants, flower. So they are burning it here.
Warm ashes, incense, fresh offerings. The silence of the ruins, broken only by the wind moving through the pine trees, gives this whole stage a really unique atmosphere.
We left our makeshift shelter at dawn and start heading toward Antigua. This time we avoid the main highway and take small roads that wind through the mountains. The terrain is still rough, but at the top of one pass, the reward is instant. For the first time, the view opens up to the three giants that domain the region: Agua, Acatenango, and Fuego. And Fuego immediately lives up to its name. As we keep pedaling, we can already see a huge plume of grey smoke rising from the crater. It's one of those images that instantly tell you where you are. We have entered the most active volcanic zone in the country. From there we descend into Antigua. Even arriving in the town turns into a challenge.
It's always the chaos in this type of city. Oh, it's funny.
The streets are covered in large uneven cobblestone, and every meters on the bikes feel rough. we settle into the colorful colonial city, but honestly our attention stayed on the peak above us. After seeing Fuego from the road, we know we can't just pass through. So we decide to leave the bike for a few days. The plan is again simple: climb Atitlán and go. Fuego is direct neighbor and get as close as possible. The hike is brutal. We go from around 1,500 meters to almost 4,000. Step after step through loose volcanic ash, hard but manageable.
It's a good day to climb the Atitlán and go. It's time to this, and I think we are on the half of the way. Maybe in 1 hour or 2 hours we will be on the summit. And now it's time to continue to see the El Fuego.
Eventually, we reach base camp on the slope of Atitlán, directly facing Fuego's crater, only a few hundred meters away.
And we made it. We are on the top, almost on the top of Atitlán, but we have a beautiful view just in front of El Fuego, and it's just, I don't have the words, just beautiful.
Yeah.
See?
And we set up our little tent on the flat area just on the side of the cliff. The view is just beautiful. Volcano de Agua just behind me. Y El Fuego. Currently in the middle of an eruption. What a nice place to be. Perfect. Now it's time for the little lunch.
We have some little sandwich like that with pork and chicken, I think.
Yeah.
Don't remember. And I have this one, a kind of biscuits. Yeah, but this sandwich is for my dinner.
And once night falls, everything changes. Every 15 to 20 minutes, a deep rubble rolls through the ground like underground thunder. Then craters explode. Glowing lava bursts into the sky and spills down the slope in bright red line, cutting through the darkness. We stay here in silence, just filming eruption after eruption. In moments like this, you really feel how small you are compared to the power of the earth.
After everything we just experienced in the volcanoes, it's time to get back on the bikes. We leave the cool air of Antigua behind and begin a fast descent toward the coastal plain. In just a few dozen kilometers, we lose more than 1,500 meters of elevation, and the change is immediate. The fresh mountain air disappears, replaced by heavy, crushing heat. We pass through Escuintla, a mix of industry and agriculture, before finally reaching the lowlands. For the first time in a while, the road flattens out. But the challenge simply changes. Now it's the headwind and the humidity that start wearing us down. Before pushing to the border, we make one last detour through the mangroves. This time we leave the bikes behind and take a boat through the narrow canals between the mangrove roots. It feels like entering a completely different world. Everything is calm, flat, quiet. A total contrast to the steep mountains and volcanoes of the past few days. Then it's time for the final stretch. The roads follow the Pacific coast now, cutting through huge sugar cane plantations and endless palm trees.
So, we just left Monterrico this morning, just 1 hour ago, and now we are at a dock to take a little ferry to cross a wetland, and we're just waiting for the ferry. This morning we made a little tour, it was super cool, and we saw a lot of little type of bird, and sadly no crocodile. But I think it's not the best place to see some. Maybe in a national park in Salvador. Here we go, Bryan.
Yeah, we are on the boat with 2 other cars, and it's time to go. The sun is relentless, the road surface gets sketchy in place, and the final kilometers are driven mostly by pure adrenaline and the excitement of reaching a new country. Eventually, we arrive at the Pedro de Alvarado border. We go through the Guatemala exit formalities and take one last look behind us. The volcanic peaks are now fading into the heat haze. Guatemala pushed us hard. Physically, it might be one of the toughest countries we've crossed so far. But it also gave us some of the most intense images of the entire journey. And ahead of us, El Salvador is waiting. We've already heard stories about its dirt roads and wide coastline. A new chapter begins.
And the road to Argentina continues. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.
It's okay, Bryan?
Yeah, I'm okay. A little bit afraid by that, but it's okay.